Today we're in New Britain Public Library for a drawing workshop and presentation of the drawings from Moldova as a part of the Peace in the World program of Vermont Arms Foundation. And my name is Sean Cummings, and I am presenting the workshop. And I'm going to teach about perspective drawing, and also we'll be making drawings today for the children in Moldova to be sending to them there in response to the drawings from Moldovan children. Вот здесь сейчас немножко performance art, немножко по художник Николай Сенков. Спасибо. Should you photograph the drawings and walk around? Here we have many subjects that are from Moldovan traditional life. Children in many cases are...
А здесь каждому подходить и вот делать, смотреть оценку. Я тебе поставлю 5. Я тебе поставлю 5 с плюсом.
Some of them are additionally directly addressing the theme of the program, the peace in the world, through combining many world flags and doves, symbolizing peace and harmony in families, homes, and their nation. They're also incorporating a lot of different styles, from pencil drawings to watercolor to primitivism and impressionism, and they were given a large amount of freedom by the teachers to explore different techniques. Some of these oil pastel. Some are rural scenes, some are portraits, some are urban scenes. A lot of good use of light color, line. Не надо фотографировать просто. In preparation for this class today, I've drawn the interior of the community room at New Britain Public Library in perspective. And we're offering this as part of these programs because it's something that schools rarely teach anymore, occasionally at the high school level, but they used to be taught when they were in grade school long ago. And when we've taught it in schools before, in library programs before, it's usually new to kids and pretty exciting to figure out how to accurately render interior spaces. That's what we usually do, or they could do the same things outdoors or of imaginary places. But we start with a simple interior space that's already has many signs of structure, such as blocks in the wall, or carpet tiles or ceiling tiles, so you can figure out exactly where things are, because there are some grids, there are some parallel lines, and such. So this room, for instance, is sort of a good one to learn on, because there are floor tiles out of carpet. Yeah, see the tiles. Yeah, and you can use the technique of taking your shoe and doing like 1, 2. Oh, you know they're 2-foot tiles. So you can use your eyes to then measure the rest of the room, left and right, front and back, and draw this out on the floor. I actually didn't draw it from front to back, but I here, from the vanishing point, established where the floor tiles are. And the same thing with the ceiling tiles. Those are also probably 2-foot tiles, although I'm not going to try to stand on the ceiling and measure them with my feet. Ha ha ha. Also is here on the wall, and I didn't draw this part yet, but we can count the concrete blocks in the wall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's a 12 block high room, essentially, which means 12 times 8, 2 times 16, 16 is 116 inches tall. So that would be, how high would that be? 9'6". Let's see. Also, this room, maybe point it that way. Yeah. We're not focusing on Nikolai necessarily at the moment. He's hard at work creating a new masterpiece. But here we have this little kitchenette built into the room, and I positioned the tables at an angle so that everyone can see that as not a flat wall, but as this rectangular volume that's sticking out of the wall. And my drawing here, after we've established the basic vanishing point by following this line from the floor and the ceiling and where they converge, we establish that wall, and then this wall, also in some imaginary point off in the distance to the right, establishes the back wall and where those lines are converging. And then we can construct the kitchen from using that same vanishing point for this wall and projecting it through where the wall starts at the back wall of the room where there's the door, and drawing this small line up from the vanishing point at a diagonal for that probably 3 or so feet that the kitchen sticks out from the wall. And so that we've established the top, and from that corner it can go and follow down to that other vanishing point to the right and sketch in the kitchen. And also the cabinets at the top and the cabinets in the dishwasher and the stove at the bottom are recessed from that kitchen by about several inches or so. So we can draw them in right about there and here and see that they're recessed. Now also, if there's furniture in the room, like we have all these tables that people are sitting at, they also follow this vanishing point here. We can approximately locate them and then draw the tabletops in, which are also vanishing out to that same vanishing point. And then draw their approximate width. And then start to sketch in legs and a chair, which will also sort of follow. Its seat will follow to that vanishing point, and the top of the back will follow out to that vanishing point. And then beyond that, we have these columns, or covers for columns that stick out from the wall. In the room, they're red. And these, we project them out about a foot or 8 inches is about what they are. And then from there, project them out and follow up the top and do the top. And then we'll notice that even the column at the top is also going out to that vanishing point. So you can just kind of imagine where that is and then angle that line to that point to establish the column. Now, when you look through the door, this is the kind of only place in this room where you can get the sense of going from one space to another and using the perspective technique to kind of see where that is. But out in the hallway, there's some linoleum tile and there's some more book stacks. And if we look that way, you can establish the floor and the edge of those book stacks by drawing a line at the bottom of the book stack as a line out to the vanishing point on the right, because that's, after all, a parallel wall or imaginary wall to the interior wall of this room. So we can locate that. There's a couple more rules of perspective that are sort of general things that you can use to locate things and sort of get a sense of the structure of a space. One is to, first of all, take a pencil and gauge the height of, say, like the back corner of the wall in this room versus from the bottom of the wall to like where your feet are, where you're sitting or standing while you're doing the drawing. So you can take the pencil, put it out there and say, okay, locate that with the height of the wall, and then flip it and proportion that and flip it again. And so the floor in my drawing should take about 2.5 times what the wall is if I'm standing in this location, standing up. So I'll see more floor than if I was sitting down, in which case the proportion would change of the height of the wall to the floor. And the same thing with the ceiling. The ceiling in this case, because I'm standing up high, becomes foreshortened more and will occupy a smaller amount of the drawing. And that's just as well because a drop ceiling is kind of boring to look at. So, additionally, a nice rule that I've used here is to draw cross lines on things to find the middle. Because sometimes when you first try to figure out how to do a perspective drawing, you're inclined to, if you see something and you think it's in the middle, to draw it exactly in the middle. But actually, that's not the way that it should be represented. What you want to take is, if you have a big square thing, like a ceiling in a square room, draw a cross across the imaginary square of that, from a corner to corner and corner to corner. And where those lines cross will tell you that is the midpoint. And generally speaking, that midpoint will be farther away from you than you think. It'll be closer to, say, like the back wall in the distance. And that's sort of the case here too. This distance is shorter than that. And that sort of helps locate things, because after all, when you're looking at those ceiling